Well, No King's Day is over. Now it will be interesting to see if Chuck Schumer and the rest of the government is interesting in ending the shutdown. I do have a question though. Was it really worth it? Was it really worth shutting down the government, not paying our troops for some No Kings parade? I'm just curious. But again, maybe it's not over. Maybe, as I expect, the shutdown will extend into next month. But there are thoughts that this might be over soon, including White House economic advisor Hassett thinks that now that this is over, we can get on with the business of governing the country. So it will be interesting if this just the passing of this date, Saturday, I think it was, is over. And now magically we can pass a clean CR, which I think will be the 11th or 12th time we have tried to do it. So let's hope it passes. Let's hope a clean CR gets through and we can get on with serving the country. On top of that, let's talk about the week ahead. We got a lot of important data, including Friday CPI, but again, Friday's CPI data is important. I do want to highlight now, again, I always like to make calls. The experts are calling CPI headline to be 3.1. It was 2.9 last month. It was 2.7 the month before. So this, if it comes in at 3.1, is not a positive trend. But I want to be clear. I want to call it right now with you. I think it will come in better than expected. I think it will come in at 3 flat or lower. I do not see it going 3-1. As always, if I'm wrong, I will own it. I will say swing and a miss. But I do like making calls. Again, I don't see the run up in oil. And when you look at food commodities the last month, most of them were heading lower. So again, I think CPI headline will come in better than expected. We are going to get some key earnings this week. Probably most anticipated it is Zion's. Remember, Zion's triggered a community bank run when they identified a $50 billion or $1 million loss. It was big. So we will get their earnings, I think, after hours today. Also get HBT Financial and other regional banks. Again, folks, we are trying to pay attention to the regional banks, right? To quote Warren Buffett, Jamie Dimon, where are the cockroaches? Where is the over leverage? Where are the poor assets? Where is the fraud, right? Where are the people going to jail? Tomorrow we'll get Netflix, Coke, Pulte Group. Pulte Group is important. That's a large housing builder. GM, and again, more community banks. Tesla, Hilton, SAP, IBM, and Southwest Airlines are on Wednesday. Thursday, we get American Airlines, Ford, Intel, AutoNation, and Blackstone. And then Friday, Procter & Gamble. So this week, unlike last week, which was dominated by the big banks, we're going to get a wide swath of understanding. What's going on with the consumer, right? Netflix, Coke, GM. What's going on with travel, Hilton. What's going on in tech, SAP, IBM, Tesla. So again, it's going to be a very interesting week. Who's beating? Who's raising? Who is lowering growth targets? Again, lots of stuff to review this week. Let's talk about housing. Again, there's been a lot of housing information coming. And again, I want to talk about how housing becomes more affordable. It's not with the 40% crash or the 9% crash that the doomers are feeding you. There really are two ways to get this done. First, you can take a lesson from 1950s. In the 1950s, we went from building a 1 million to almost 2 million homes. But what we were doing was building smaller homes. In 1950, the median square foot was 1,350 square feet. That's the median. That means, folks, we were producing homes below 1,000 square feet. It's not unheard of. The fact that today the median square foot is over 2,000 is part of the problem. Again, we need to have a national revitalization, a national focus on entry-level housing. The fact that since the GFC, it has only been profitable to build luxury homes is the problem. It is why we've created this air pocket of first-time homebuyers. Again, if the president and his administration were to declare a housing emergency, I would hope that part of the solution is building a lot more smaller homes. On top of that, we got a great note from Lance Lambert over at Resi Club. You can give him a follow on X. That's where I follow him. And he talked about, according to the Atlanta Fed wage tracker, wages on a national level are up 4.2% year on year. That is above inflation. So that is real wage growth. But more importantly, and this is important, the only housing metro that is rising faster than wages is Cleveland, Ohio. That means every other major metro is rising or frankly falling less than 4.2%. Why is that important? Well, folks, wages growing faster than home prices naturally means affordability gets better. This is what I brought up 2+ years ago. It's not the answer that we want. It's not the answer that we want to hear, hence the doomers keep whispering crash. This is the answer. Wage growth over time will slowly make housing more affordable. Yes, lower interest rates will help. Yes, flat prices for years will help, but it won't be quick. It won't be sudden. And again, follow Lance Lambert for information on that level. We do have updates on kind of the 10-year note. As of the recording or as of this live stream, the 10-year is once again below 4%. Last time I checked, it was 3.996. Gold is over $4,300 and silver is over $51. Might as well throw in Bitcoin over 111K. Something about gold has changed. And again, I do think it was the confiscation of Russia's treasuries that did this. That was a red line that sent the world looking for alternatives. Gold now accounts for greater than 20% of global central bank reserves. 20%. That is the highest share in over 3 decades. We are seeing the appetite for gold go almost nuclear. And again, it was likely caused by the confiscation of Russia treasuries. BlackRock Larry Fink out with some negative headlines, which again, I think are actually positive, but we'll get to that in a minute. Larry Fink says, nearly every person he talks to is anxious about the economy, more than any time in recent memory. Now, that headline is very scary. However, I think if you look behind it, it's shockingly positive. What do I mean? Well, I agree with Larry. I believe there is more fear and doom and nervousness and uncertainty today than there has been in a long time. And if that's true, and the economy is still growing at 3%, what happens if uncertainty abates? What happens if we feel a little better? What happens if we extract $1 trillion in home equity? How do we feel then? So again, tying the fact together that we are uncertain and fearful, and the economy is still producing 3% growth, is actually shockingly an interesting positive signal. Because again, as I've studied the consumer for 30 years, consumers will not act fearful, uncertain forever. It's typically 2, sometimes 3, and on the outset, 4 quarters. At some point, consumers will simply say, I need to live my life. I need to stop being fearful. I need to go enjoy the things that make life worth living. So, if we are more fearful and uncertain today than we've ever been, and we're still growing at 3%, what happens when uncertainty abates? Let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear you. Logan Motsashami from Housing Wire taking shots at doomers, and I love it. I love the fact that more and more people are standing up and calling out the evil that are doomers. Doomers steal hope because they produce stuff to pay rent. It's really a disgusting circle. These doomers have PTSD. They don't believe what they're saying, but they tapped into the vein and they've sold their soul to pay rent, which is sad. What did Logan say? He basically said that housing is now on a positive trend. And it's going to be interesting because, again, I highlighted that I believe September will be the mark, or actually August is the bottom, right? I'm very clear on that. I think August 2025 will prove to be the bottom, which means September 2025 will be better. And we are supposed to get some of that data later this week, I think Thursday and Friday, although we do have a government shutdown, so we shall see. We did get some Fed speak. Fed speak. Musselman says, bankers tell me that credit conditions are really good. Well, forgive me if I don't believe you. I lived through the GFC, and I remember telling me all the time that the banks were okay. The banks are okay. So not really going to listen to that. Fed policy is currently between restrictive and neutral. I don't know what's between those two. I think you're either are neutral or you are restrictive. I don't know there's a between restrictive and neutral. I don't know what that word would be. And then this one's important. Musselman sees break-even job market between 30 and 80K. That's a significant drop. Last year, this time, Fed folks were talking about 150,000 jobs being break-even. So again, really interesting. Reventure Consulting actually put out some interesting data that we should look at about apartment rents. Again, Reventure Consulting has put out some great data. He says that Austin, Texas, rent is down 18.3% since the peak. Fort Myers, Florida, is down 15.3% since the peak. And Colorado Springs is down 12.5%. Again, we've seen some overdevelopment and units and all of that. So again, interesting to see where rents are. Folks, we talk about school a lot on this channel, and I just realized I never told you where to go. So on the screen right now, you could see the simple URL. School is spelled with a K, SKOOL.com/ORaaT, which stands for one rental at a time. A lot of you have said you want to join school, but you don't know where to go. I am sorry. That is my bad, my mistake. ORaaT, just go to school.com/ORaaT. We will see you in there. Speaking of school, we had two people join yesterday, Mark and Isaac. Mark and Isaac, thank you for joining. Make sure you introduce yourself, meet all the great people. Just to highlight what we are doing inside school, which is your wealth club. It is where everyday wealth builders go to learn, grow, mentor, and help. We had Demetrius, Seth, and Will have introduction or post in the forums. We had somebody give a VA assumption deal review. We had Jared give Sunday sync notes from the accountability group. And we had somebody talk about a cash out refi. So again, we are doing big things. If you want to get around other wealth builders, you want to join a wealth club, just go to school.com/ORaaT, and I will see you in there. Two more things that we'll talk about. We'll do Bill Gross and then something from the Wall Street Journal. Bill Gross. Gold is now a meme asset. Ouch. Meme asset, according to Bill Gross. Regional bank cockroaches may continue. I would actually say likely to continue. And then the 10-year note has no business below 4%. Wow. Now, remember, Bill Gross was often called the bond king, so maybe he is talking his book. According to Bill Gross, the 10-year note should be above 4.5%. Again, this morning, it went below 4. And then, according to Wall Street Journal, actually an interesting article talking about the hocus pocus of work-life balance. It says that work-life balance will keep you mediocre for financial freedom by 30. Damn, by 30? Really? We're talking financial freedom by 30 now? Wow. You have to optimize for ruthlessly during your peak physical and cognitive years. Basically saying, go be Gary V, work every waking hour, and go for it. Folks, at the end of the day, we are about building wealth. We know it takes sacrifice, discipline, focus. We provide you the best community on the planet to get around other wealth builders. It is school.com/ORaaT. You have to give it a try. 67 pennies a day. Try it for a month. See if you like it. See if you don't. You will undoubtedly like it, given the active forums, the 9 accountability groups, the free education, the Sunday conversations. We are here for it. And then finally, if you are a landlord, you know insurance is getting really expensive. So go to the link in the description for Steadily and make sure you get a second quote. See if they can help. See if they get you better rates, better coverage. Folks, take care. Remember, we will be back tomorrow, Tuesday, at 7:30 a.m. for the live daily financial news. Like, subscribe, comment. Take care. Have a wonderful day. Peace.